Once upon a time in a world not so different from ours, cats ruled the railways, the model railways, that is. Picture this, a feline named Whiskers, with a coat as sleek as a steam engine and eyes as bright as signal lamps, fancied himself the master conductor of a model railway set. Now, Whiskers wasn't your average tabby, oh no. He was a feline of ambition, a cat with a dream. He saw that tiny model train chugging around its tracks and he decided he was going to be the conductor. He'd perch on the arm of the sofa, tail twitching, eyes locked on the miniature locomotive plotting his course. Then, with a leap as graceful as a gazelle's and as accurate as a well-timed train schedule, he'd land smack dab in the middle of the model railway town. He'd try to squeeze his well-fed self into the tiny locomotive, but alas, his ambitions were larger than the scale of the model train. Undeterred, Whiskers would switch tactics. He'd bat at the miniature trees lining the tracks, scattering them like leaves in the wind. His paw would swipe with the speed and precision of a switchman flipping the track switch, sending the model train off on a new route. And oh, the chase of the imaginary mouse. Whiskers, in his role as conductor, deemed it his duty to protect his railway from these tiny trespassers. He'd pounce and chase and in the process hilariously derail the train, causing a mini disaster in the model town. Yet, despite the chaos, Whiskers would purr with satisfaction, his eyes gleaming with the thrill of the chase and the joy of his make-believe world. Because you see, to Whiskers, this wasn't just a model railway, it was his kingdom, his adventure, his story. So, you see, Whiskers had a grand old time, even if the passengers of his imaginary railway journey did not. If you think Whiskers was a handful, wait till you meet Miss Fluffy Paws. This feline furball is an expert at crafting chaos and confusion with her owner's model train set, and boy does she have fun doing it. Now, Miss Fluffy Paws is no ordinary cat. She's a perfectly mischievous feline with a knack for turning a calm afternoon of model railroading into a roller coaster of laughter. You see, she has this uncanny ability to find the most inconvenient spots to park her fluffy self, right on the tracks. Imagine the scene, a meticulously planned train schedule thrown into disarray, all thanks to a cat-induced traffic jam. But that's not all. Oh no, Miss Fluffy Paws isn't content with just lounging on the tracks. She's got a keen eye for moving objects, and those tiny train cars whizzing by are just too tempting. With a swift swipe of her paw, she sends them flying off the rails, turning a smooth journey into an unexpected derailment. Her owner can't help but chuckle even as he's picking up the toppled train cars. And then there's the time she decided that the model train station was the perfect place for a cat nap. Picture this, a peaceful model town suddenly facing an unforeseen natural disaster. A slumbering cat, buildings toppled, trees uprooted, and the station itself? Well, let's just say it became a cozy bed for our fluffy saboteur. Through her antics, Miss Fluffy Paws has turned the quiet hobby of model railroading into a lively game of cat and mouse. Or should we say cat and train? She's a constant reminder that even the smallest disruptions can lead to the biggest laughs. And while her owner might grumble as he resets his model town for the umpteenth time, there's no denying the twinkle in his eye. Because in the end, it's not about the perfect train ride, but the joy and laughter that comes from sharing this hobby with his feline friend. Miss Fluffy Paws, the perfect saboteur, certainly knew how to keep her owner on his toes. From conductors to saboteurs, we now turn to passengers. Meet Tigger, the adventurous feline who loved a good ride. Now, Tigger was no ordinary cat. He was a feline with a taste for the finer things in life, and by finer things we mean a good old-fashioned model train ride. You see, Tigger had a sense of adventure that was only matched by his impeccable timing. He could often be found poised and patient waiting at the model train station. Yes, you heard it right. This cat knew the train schedule better than most humans know their own coffee routine. As the miniature locomotive would chug into the station, Tigger would spring into action. With the grace of a seasoned commuter, he'd hop aboard and settle himself comfortably on the train. His eyes, bright with anticipation, would watch as the world outside began to move. The tiny trees, the miniature houses, and the little folks that populated this model world would whiz past him. To Tigger, it was more than just a ride around a track. It was an adventure, a daily voyage into an exciting world. But what was truly remarkable was Tigger's demeanor during these trips. He wasn't just sitting there, he was a passenger. He would watch the landscape with keen interest, occasionally twitching his tail in delight as the train chugged along. He was calm, composed, and thoroughly enjoying his journey. It was as though he was born for this, born to ride the rails, albeit the model ones. And so, day after day, Tigger would embark on his adventures around the model world, a regular passenger on the Kitty Express. His daily commute was a spectacle that brought joy and laughter to those lucky enough to witness it. It was a perfect blend of the unexpected and the amusing, a cat on a model train living his best life. Tigger, the most well-traveled house cat in town, certainly enjoyed his daily commute on the Kitty Express. From joyrides to collisions, model train sets have seen it all, especially when a cat named Shadow is involved. Now let's take a moment to appreciate Shadow, the feline force of nature who has a knack for turning a peaceful model train setup into a scene straight out of an action movie. Shadow, with his jet black fur and eyes as gleaming as the headlights of an oncoming train, has a rather unique hobby. This peculiar pastime involves strategically placing his favorite toys on the model train tracks. Now you might think, that's cute, he's playing conductor. Well, let's just say these aren't your everyday stops at the station. His owner, a model train enthusiast with a heart as big as his beloved railroad, is always on his toes thanks to Shadow's antics. With each new day comes a fresh obstacle course on the tracks, courtesy of our furry friend here. It's a game of cat and train, and it's clear who's running the show. Shadow's toys aren't the only things making their way onto the tracks. Oh no, Shadow takes it up a notch. From plush mice to jingle balls and even the occasional catnip-stuffed fish, Shadow ensures that no journey on his owner's model railway is ever a smooth one. These unexpected obstacles often lead to dramatic and, dare I say, hilarious collisions. Picture this: a meticulously crafted steam locomotive chugging along only to be derailed by a squeaky rubber duck. It's a sight that would make anyone chuckle. But don't worry, no trains or toys are harmed in the making of these catastrophes. It's all in good fun. And let's face it, it adds a whole new level of excitement to the world of model railroading. Shadow's owner, despite the constant chaos, takes it all in stride. After all, what's a model railroad without a little unpredictability? It's clear that Shadow, the master of disaster, certainly knew how to keep things interesting on the model railway. From conductors to passengers, saboteurs to catastrophe creators, our feline friends have definitely left their mark on the world of model railroading. Let's take a trip down the memory track, shall we? We've had cats donning the conductor's cap, proving that they can run the show just as well as any human, if not better. And who can forget the perfect sabotage where our furry friends showed off their cunning and stealth, leaving us in stitches and our trains in, well, less than perfect condition. Then we journeyed on the Kitty Express, where our cats proved they make for not just good conductors but also entertaining passengers. And of course the catastrophic collision where the world of model trains met the unpredictable chaos of cat antics, giving us all a good laugh. So, next time you see a cat eyeing your model train set, remember, you might just be on the track to a whole new level of feline fun.